For 9 years, the fighting continued with no end in sight. It wasn't exactly Earth anymore.
Is this St. Louis?
Now we call it Defiance.
Defiance.
Your new
Guys, so this was legitimately one of those sci-fi shows that unfortunately got canceled through its run, but it did get a bit of a run. It got a few seasons, and one of the things I think I found super interesting about this show was that it was one of the first times I can think of where they attempted to do a TV show that tied into an MMORPG and had an ongoing storyline that was between the two. And being someone who has played MMORPGs since the late 90s, I remember one of the reasons I was interested in it was not only because it was a science fiction show on the SyFy Channel, but also because it was a legit video game that I could go sink my teeth into. Ultimately, it was not that great of a game, and it wasn't that great of a show either, unless you're like me and you just love campy science fiction. Like, some people will look at Farscape and be like, Farscape is a horrible show. I'm like, yeah, it's not a horrible show. It was a campy show with puppets, and you have to be able to appreciate that as a science fiction nerd. If you can't appreciate that, then yeah, it's probably not. I'm like, my parents, as an example, are never going to watch Farscape because the realm of them enjoying puppets is so far outside of reality that it's never going to happen. Anyway, I want to talk about this show a little bit because Defiance is one of those TV shows that I think many people didn't watch unless they were like tuned into the SyFy Channel, and I do think it's legitimately worth a rewatch. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere right now. We're gonna do some digging as I do this episode today. I'm sort of going off the cuff here. I was looking at my notes and going, hey, I haven't done one of these sci-fi episodes in a while. So I have this series that's been ongoing on my channel for, I don't know, like 3 years now, where I go in and I talk about my favorite science fiction shows that I've seen over the years. It's been a hot minute since we've done an episode, probably 3 or 4 months. I was like, I really need to get back to doing these on a regular basis. So today, what sparked it was I was actually looking at shows that were developed by Rockne S, who has done a ton of great sci-fi shows over the years, and that brought me to Defiance. And I was like, it was between a toss-up between this one and the redone version of V, which was this alien invasion show, which ultimately they redid. It was not that great either, but it did get a little bit of a run. Anyway, I'm rambling here at this point. Let's talk about Defiance. So first and foremost, it was a tie-in between a show and a video game. So we can actually look at the development of this here on the wiki, which I have no problems using wikis. Anybody who complains, whatever, get out of here. So they call this a science fiction western drama, developed by Rockne S, Kevin Murphy, Michael Taylor, and produced by Universal Cable Television for the Sci-Fi Channel. So the show takes place in a post-apocalyptic future on a radically transformed Earth containing new species, some having arrived from space, while others were the result of a haphazard contamination by the terraforming technology used by the alien race, the Voltans, which had transformed native flora and fauna in unforeseen ways. The story picks up in the year 2046, when Earth has been considerably changed, with new topography, the extinction of plant and animal species, and the emergence of new species. This series follows Joshua Nolan, Grant Ballard, his adopted alien daughter Irissa, and the town's new mayor, Amanda Rosewater, played by Julia Benz, in addition to an ensemble of actors portraying different characters including, by the way, Graham Greene, who just knocked it out of the park in my mind. Also, where is she? I know she's on the list here. It's not Mia Kirshner. It's Jamie Murray, I think is her name. She's a British actress. There she is, right there. I was missing her. She plays the alien mom, and she's just kind of ruthless. It's really great stuff. And also, Tony Curran, who's this Scottish actor who you've seen in probably everything under the sun over the years. Anyway, it's an ensemble cast. It picks up in St. Louis, if I remember correctly. Unfortunately, it was canceled. They talk about it here. Series is broadcast on Sci-Fi, premiered on April 15, 2013, renewed for a 13-episode third season in 2014, and then it was canceled by Sci-Fi for financial reasons after completing its third season. However, the companion video game Defiance continued to be supported until a couple years ago, actually, April 2021. And in March of 2016, Trion Worlds announced that the game was getting a major update and promoted that as the 4th season of the show, with no plans to make a sequel and continuing to update the game with new content. So for those of you who were really, really into the story of the show, it did continue in the MMORPG afterwards. I didn't play the game after the fact, so I don't know what that 4th season looked like. I ultimately did enjoy the first 3 seasons, and I would absolutely rewatch this show. So it's one of those things where I'm actually looking at my schedule right now going, is this legitimately worth diving into this year? I don't know that Chris would enjoy it. So this may be something I rewatch on my own time, kind of like that Farscape example, because I did like Farscape, and it's fun to rewatch every once in a while, even though it gets a little quirky towards the end, or the later episodes, leading up to eventually. I mean, when it got to the Peacekeeper Wars, it got better again. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's look some more at this. In 2023, 7 species of extraterrestrial refugees arrived in orbit around Earth. Expecting to find the planet uninhabited and suitable for terraforming, they were surprised by humanity's presence, as was humanity by their arrival. Confusion over what to do about the alien refugees led to a series of events, including the Arkfall, wherein most of the Vultans' spaceships were destroyed in orbit, and a series of conflicts called the Pale Wars. These events resulted in the destruction of most nation-states and the accidental and uncontrollable deployment of Vultan terraforming technology, which radically altered Earth's landscape and mutated its ecosystems. A 7th alien race, the Volge, also arrived at Earth during the Pale Wars to the surprise of both humans and Vultans. These wars ended in the Battle of Defiance, which took place at Fort Defiance in San Francisco. Decades later, one of the veterans of that battle, our police officer Joshua Nolan, and his adopted Vultan daughter arrive in the town of Defiance, named after the battle and built on top of the ruins of St. Louis. A melting pot of cultures. It's craziness going on there. It does take place in the city of St. Louis primarily, but they do give a good backdrop of here about how the city itself is a melting pot of human and alien cultures and remains neutral between the Western Hemisphere's 2 major nation states, which is the human-dominated Earth Republic, centered in New York City, and the alien-dominated Vultanus Collective, which is headquartered in Brazil. Intending only to salvage a terrasphere from some Arkfall wreckage, Nolan and Irisa discover a plot by the town's former mayor to hire Volt's mercenaries to destroy the town. After saving the town, they decide to stay while Nolan becomes the lawkeeper for the town and begins to investigate various crimes and conspiracies related to the ex-mayor's attempt to destroy the town, and how those plots are all related to Irisa, the apocalyptic cult from which she was rescued as a child, and a Vultan spaceship buried under the town. There's also the blood feud between the 2 richest families in town, the human Ucali family, who operates the mines, and the alien Tar family, who runs organized crime. And that's when we get into Tony Durand playing the father and Jamie Murray playing the mother of that organized crime family, husband and wife. It's a really good show, and I don't know if they show any more of this in the trailer, but
How can you tell?
There is an army coming.
You're headed straight for Defiance. A race of killing machines.
Let's get out of here.
There are kids in this town.
I don't care.
Yes, you do care. I know you better than that. I raised you better than that.
What's it gonna be? Pointless bloodshed? Or are we gonna work out our differences together?
oh, it was such a good show.
This town is worth fighting for.
Ultimately, it really was a good show, everybody. I don't know. Is it streaming now? I don't want to say if there's any news in here. I mean, I think the last news article in here. Can you stream Defiance? It says it's available. No, I don't. That was 2013 to 15. I have no idea if it's still available anywhere. So no idea. No idea. But this was legitimately a fun science fiction show, which I think if you like good sci-fi, you should go dive into it. Like I said, I don't know if you can stream it anywhere, but see if you can go pick it up or find it somewhere. If someone knows where it's streaming, please drop that down in the comments below. I'm recording this on April 2nd of 2023, but it's one of those things where I think if you like just a good, solid sci-fi show, it's worth your time. There was, I think, 3 seasons of like 13 episodes apiece. So really cool stuff. Especially if you like original IP, because too many shows these days come in and they try to adapt a book series or something, whereas this was created from scratch to be this thing all on its own. And I think that just it's fascinating that it had an MMORPG developed alongside the game. And I don't know if there's any, does it ever say? This is one thing I don't know, and I can't remember if the game was were they both conceptualized at the same time as something that was going to be developed together, or was this something where they started developing the show and then someone came along and said, well, hey, we could do a game at the same time. I'm scanning this here. On June 11th, SyFy announced they would be producing a television show. It was also announced that the TV series would be connected to a video game being produced by Trion Worlds. So that's something I'm not sure, and I would have to go look at some old interviews and stuff to see if I could find more information about it. Because what I don't know is, was it always designed to be the two things at the same time, or was it first developed as a show and then along the way they came along and said, oh, well, hey, we could also do this as this thing because we want to do this experiment, and Trion's ready and they've got the team and we could just tie this in and make this happen. I don't know. Love to know more if anybody out there knows more about it. But in the meantime, if you like this show, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Let me know in the comments below. Support if you can. Super chat, super thanks, memberships, the Patreon page, Discord's down below. Let me know what you think about Defiance if you've seen it yet, or if you've already watched this show. And until next time, everybody, as always, stay safe. Happy watching out there.